What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I'm running Shadow Magnezone in the Open Great League, a very strong and powerful Pokemon that you guys can run. And I tried a few variants of this team. What you guys can look to change out is if you guys don't have that Gligar, you can maybe go with something like Altaria or Mantine. But just for me, at the ELO range that I'm at, which is 2700, the Gligar did the best for me because of how many Bastiodons I was seeing in this meta. So we got Annihilape as our safe swap there with Close Combat as well, which is going to come in clutch today. And then Shadow Magnezone with Wild Charge just hits like a truck. It is so much fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and let's go and get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle, we have Magnezone on the lead versus Shadow Steelix. Pretty bad lead right here. So we're going to go ahead and swap out into Annihilape, and notice how my opponent is not swapping out. This is a tell that maybe we have an opportunity to flip this mid game. So we're going to go ahead and give up a shield here, as it is going to be Psychic Fangs. And actually we see Defense Form Deoxys swap in, which is not ideal because it does have access to Psycho Boost, which is obviously going to be doing super effective damage. So what we're going to do is go for the double Night Slash right here. They're about to get to a Psycho Boost, and I don't want to get caught not putting more pressure down. I could have built up to a Shadow Ball, but as you guys can see, we do get the boost. So now they're forced to throw energy. I'm going to have to shield right here because I'm going to be able to get 2 shields from my opponent. And if they are weak to Annihilape in terms of the counter damage to Steelix and the charge moves to Defense Form Deoxys, odds are that Gligar can do potentially pretty well against their team. So we obviously we're going to get knocked out here by the Psycho Boost, boom, which is fine. Gligar now can safely come in. This Defense Form Deoxys did 2 Psycho Boosts, which means its attack is dramatically lowered. So that means this next charge move is not going to hit for anything. Now, I don't want my opponent to be swapping out and letting Defense Form Deoxys live, because that counter damage against Magnezone is really going to add up. So I decide to go for Aerial Ace right here after loading up quite a bit of energy as we do take it out. All shields are down. Final Pokemon is Annihilape, but they try to Peekaboo me. Come on now, I was holding all that energy, and we are going to be able to get to the dig here in time. This is going to be doing super effective damage, but not enough to knock out, so we will fast move down, and then obviously Annihilape is going to get annihilated by the Gligar. So game 1 didn't even need the Magnezone, obviously, just because of how strong Gligar and Annihilape can be in this meta. But Magnezone puts in work in today's video. It does incredibly well, and boom, good game to my opponent. Alright, we're going to be moving into the next one. And again, I was in the 2700 ELO range when I did these battles, just for reference, so you might not see the Pokemon and teams that I'm facing off against, right? We got Carbink here on the lead. Very good lead for us, and honestly, for our whole team, we love Carbinks. We got Mirror Shot, we got Counter Close Combat, we got Dig. This is a good Pokemon to be facing off against, and Mirror Shot right here is going to be doing double super effective damage because of the Rock and Fairy typing. Now, they're not swapping out, which has given me a tell that maybe they're extremely weak in the back to Magnezone. Maybe they are core broken in some way. So we're going to go ahead and overload on energy and then go for this next Mirror Shot. That way we have plenty for whatever decides to come in, right? So we're going to go ahead and go for that Mirror Shot. They let it go, and then we will see in the top right, yep, you guys can see that. We're going to see Hakamo'o come in. So we're going to go ahead and swap into Annihilape, and they actually come out with a Trevenant, which is beautiful. We're going to be able to go for Night Slash here. Now, I could build up to Shadow Ball, but ultimately, I'm just trying to get pressure down, and this Trevenant is going to have to throw in order to get rid of me. Otherwise, I'm getting to 2 Night Slashes, which would have been fine, right? Had that landed against the Trevenant, well, then Gligar just fast moves down, right? Because it is super effective damage. So we are going to come in with Gligar right here. This is going to be my win con because we can easily survive a charge move from Hakamo'o. So I just got to be a little concerned about the potential Shadow Ball, but thankfully they let that go, which means we're going to be able to fast move down. And then Hakamo'o right here is a sitting dragon, as we're going to look to shield this charge move, as this is going to be the hardest hitting move left in the game. But what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to try to catch the charge move on Magnezone while throwing the Wild Charge because I know I should be able to survive a Dragon Claw. So we're going to go ahead and swap now to catch the charge move. This is going to be resisted. I'm hoping it doesn't knock us out. Which it doesn't, which means we can go for Wild Charge right here. And this is, even though this is resisted, right? It's Shadow Magnezone with Wild Charge, which is going to, boom, one-shot the Hakamoto, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving to the next one. Magnezone versus Wigglytuff. I mean, I'll take it. Fairies on the lead. Magnezone loves these. Now, my opponent is not swapping out, which is very curious as to why, right? We're going to be able to do super effective damage here with Mirror Shot as they decide to shield. So now I'm like, okay, they're extremely core broken in some way, but they swap in a Bastiodon, which is... I'll take it. I'll take it. Annihilape right here is going to be loving life. I'm not going to look to go for any charge moves here against Bastiodon. I can easily survive a Flamethrower, and I'm going to want to go for the hard-hitting close combat against the Wigglytuff on the back end. So we're just going to go ahead and commit to the full farm down as Annihilape can absolutely destroy Bastiodons. And now what I'm going to do is if my opponent is going to decide to shield, I'm completely safe throwing a Night Slash first because maybe they think it's Ice Punch, maybe they think it's close combat. This could get a shield. If they let it go, which they did, I'm now going for close combat because this will get me the same result. Booming a Wigglytuff. Boom! See ya! And that is Shadow Victory Bell in the back. That's going to be a good game. Gligar is going to come in and make quick work of it with Wing Attack. So pretty meta team right there on their end. As you guys know, the triple threat right there of Wigglytuff, Bastiodon, and Victory Bell can be in any order. And it's obviously allowed trainers to climb in Go Battle League for years. So good game to my opponent. All right, moving to the next one. Magnezone versus Annihilape. Really tough lead. We're going to go ahead and swap out into our own Annihilape for the mirror fight. And then we're going to have to play the game of is it Shadow Ball or is it not? Now, they went, I believe, a fast move early. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go. And it was just a Night Slash, which is perfect. Now, I'm going to go ahead and overload on energy and look to go for the Shadow Ball against my opponent, which is going to put the fear of Ghost in them as they decide to shield right there. And now we are in an interesting position where they are potentially very weak in the back to my Annihilape. So I'm going to go ahead and no shield once again because I'm just calling the baits and we got it. And they were. I blind through Night Slash, and I am so disappointed in myself because I had a free close combat right there. It was there. I had more than enough energy to one-shot the Dugong. So now we're going to come in with Magnezone. This game's obviously not over, but I had a missed opportunity to boom as we will decide to give up a shield here. It is just going to be Icy Wind, so now I'm a bit concerned with them getting to a second charge move here. So I'm gauging how much damage my my Volt Switch is doing, and I decided to throw Mirror Shot here because I wasn't going to trust fast moving down the Dugong as we do take it out. But we have enough energy for Wild Charge against Annihilape, which is going to get us shield number 2, which then gives Gligar a very good opportunity to win this game because Dugong's out of the game, right? It's very rare for them to have double ice in this type of meta. So we're going to go ahead and swap in Gligar. And sure enough, they have Bastiodon in the back. And this is why Gligar was working for me. We have seen a lot, or at least I have seen a lot of Bastiodons in this elo range. So we go ahead and go for the digs. We're going to make sure we overload on energy. I'm going to decide to shield the Stone Edge right here. I know it's not going to KO me, but I just want to play it a bit safe because I know Annihilape doesn't have enough for Shadow Ball, so I can easily just overload on energy, go for the dig to knock out Bastiodon, and then I have an Aerial Ace ready to go, and that is basically going to be a good battle because even if they throw maybe an Ice Punch or a Night Slash and somehow knock me out, Magnezone will be able to fast move down from that health range, but they decide to just go down, and that is going to be a good battle, very well played. All right, moving to the next one, Magnezone versus Jellicent. I mean, I was getting good leads today. Most days I don't, but I will take the leads today as we will see a Lickitung swap in. So what I'm going to do is go for the Wild Charge first, and then I'm going to bail into Annihilape and try to load up on as much energy as possible, because I should be able to have at least one Night Slash ready to go for the Jellicent when they come back in. I'm also going to no-shield the Power Whip. It's definitely not going to knock us out. Nothing to be worried about, and then we will counter down. Now, Jellicent right here does have access to Hex, so they're going to be able to farm us down with the fast move, right? But we are going to be able to fire right back with super effective damage as one Night Slash gets us the boost, and we're going to go for the second one right here, which is obviously going to be getting us the shield. Now, Magnezone coming back in does need to be very careful about the Surf and Shadow Ball damage here from Jellicent. So I'm going to go ahead and swap in, but they bring in once again another Bastiodon. This is why I said I was loving Gligar with this team combination. I tried out the others, but Gligar worked the best for me for where I was at. I think what, so far in this video, 3 or 4 Bastiodons being seen. I'm going to go ahead and load up on 2 Wild Charges so that I can ensure I beat Jellicent in the back in the 1-to-1 shields, because I believe I win charge attack priority there, so we should be able to just throw back to back, and we're going to go for dig here. Now, my opponent decided to shield the Bastiodon, which secures the win for me. Because now Magnezone has a clear sky in front of it in order to boom its little heart out. So we're going to go ahead and go for the dig. This is not going to be enough to knock out Bastiodon, but it doesn't really matter because we will be able to throw double Wild Charge. Again, they have no shields remaining, even if I went for Aerial Ace here, but they swap into Jellicent, which is totally fine. We have 1-to-0 shield, and this is going to be a good game as we will. They decided to throw right here too, which is totally fine by me. Magnezone comes in. We have double Wild Charge. We're just going to hit that back-to-back charge move in order to win this game. So that is going to be a good battle, very well played. Obviously, Gligar is the anchor on this team right now, did very well for me. If you're seeing a lot more like Whiscash, maybe something like Mantine or Altaria is going to be the Pokemon for you. But for me, I saw Bastiodons, and Gligar put in the work that it needed. Double boom. Good game. Alright, moving into the next one. We have Magnezone on the lead versus Lickitung. So, a very neutral lead matchup, but they decide to swap out into Poliwrath. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Gligar. I will have to give up a shield here on the Icy Wind, but I can easily overload on energy and then just look to throw that into the Lickitung on the back end, which I want switch advantage anyways because Annihilape just does so well in that matchup, right? So we're going to go ahead and throw the Aerial Ace here. I don't suspect that they're going to be shielding, so they do just let it go. And now we're going to see what they decide to come in with. Is it going to be that Lickitung once again? Lickitung will have to throw a few charge moves in order to get rid of me, which is going to allow me to go for easy digs. Now, my attack was lowered by Icy Wind, so this is by no means going to be doing maximum damage, but they're going to have to throw energy. Now, I am concerned that there might be a double fighter backline, so we might want to keep Gligar alive for that. But my opponent decides to, well, not on this one. I go for the dig here. My opponent, after this, decides to swap into a Gligar, and I bring in Annihilape, and I'm like, I could have brought in the Magnezone. I just default clicked, and I clicked the wrong Pokemon. Magnezone would have been the better play to swap in right here because of the Mirror Shot and resisted fast move damage, but ultimately, this is going to be kind of tough. This Shadow Gligar has a lot of energy. So we're going to go ahead and come in with Magnezone to see what we can do. We have a decent amount. As you guys can see, you might be concerned like, oh, well, it's part ground typing, right? The Volt Switch and Wild Charge are going to be resisted. But it hits like a truck, to be completely honest. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Wild Charge right here, just to one-shot Gligar if they decide to no-shield. And they decide to give up the shield, which is fine. I throw the next Wild Charge into Lickitung, which is so unfortunate, as this is going to be knocking it out. I mean, it's good, but it's also bad because now I swap into my own Gligar to go for the Aerial Ace, but the opponent has so much energy. They're going to be able to knock me out with Aerial Ace, and then they're going to be able to knock me out with a Dig right here, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. So this is why I was a bit annoyed I went for the back-to-back, because I could have easily overloaded on energy, but good game regardless to my opponent. All right, moving to the next one, we have Magnezone versus Alolan Sandslash on the lead. This is I decided to swap out, and I realized I made a mistake because that's a Powder Snow Sandslash. I was expecting a Shadow Claw one, which Gligar can do better against, because Powder Snow is obviously a ton of super effective damage. Now, the reason why I swapped out instead of staying in is because I have seen time and time again that there's usually a Flyer paired with the Gligar, and my opponent, I decided to go for this next Night Slash, but I realized I shouldn't have thrown this, so I decided to undercharge it. And the reason is I wanted Magnezone, to farm down energy. So my opponent is going to go ahead and stall the switch clock by not attacking, which is fine. I'm going to let them do that because I just want to come in with Magnezone and farm down. So they're going to go ahead and wing attack me right here, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and come back in. Fast move down, and I make mistake number 2. I no shield. A Water Pulse that hits like a truck. That is not what I wanted. I should have shielded that, and now I'm in a very tough position against the Alolan Sandslash, where I'm gonna have to give up shields in order to potentially win this game. So we do get a shield right there. We're gonna have to shield this Ice Punch, but hindsight, right? Maybe I don't swap out. I see what fast move the Annihilape has, or the Sandslash has. Obviously, I have to go for Wild Charge right here, and then I'm going to have to swap into Gligar, which is going to be tough because this is a Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash, and this is going to hurt. But we have a hope. We're going to go ahead and give up our final shield to stop the Ice Punch, and our hope is the fact that we have access to Dig, and they're not swapping out, which is, I'm really hoping they have like an Annihilape in the back so that we can win. Dig is going to be able to KO, so boom, down it goes. But it's actually Altari in the back. So it was double flyer. It was good game regardless. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and let them fast move me down. I don't think double Aerial Ace would have been enough right there. Even, yeah, it wouldn't have been enough damage. So that's going to be a good game to my opponent. Unfortunately, the Powder Snow double flyer combination definitely got me there. But maybe utilizing Magnezone a bit better could have played out differently. Alright, next battle, we have Annihilape once again on the lead. We're going to go ahead and swap out into the mirror. Counters are misaligned, which is kind of annoying because they're going to beat me to the Shadow Ball. But I decided to throw Night Slash anyways because I just want to get some chip damage down, and they rightfully no shield right here. And now I'm the one that has to give up a shield because I know this is enough energy for Shadow Ball, and thankfully it was. So we were able to stop that, and they swap in a Skarmory, which is actually pretty good for us because Gligar does not like facing off against Skarmory. We're going to go ahead and throw the close combat here for a lot of neutral damage, as you guys will see. Woo, that is a lot. Skarmory is not liking life. I could have gone for a Night Slash right there looking back at that, but what I'm gonna decide to do is shield the Sky Attack and go for the aggressive farm down right here so that I have double Night Slash ready to go, which is going to give me switch advantage, and it's also going to give me some shields for my opponent, right? Because Night Slash right here is going to be enough damage, and they definitely have to shield this next one unless they're going 2 shields into their final Pokemon, which by all means go for it, but they decided to shield. We're going to go ahead and come in with Gligar now and just pray that it is not Ice Punch. Shadow Ball would be totally fine because we can easily survive that, but as long as it's not Ice Punch, it is going to be Shadow Ball, which is fine. And final Pokemon is going to be Dewgong, so now we have to swap into Magnezone, and this is really tough because Dewgong could easily shield this and go for Drill Run, but my opponent decided to risk it. Boom! See ya! I don't know why. I honestly don't know why they didn't shield there. Thought process, maybe they were concerned about the bait. But I think, honestly, if my opponent shielded right there, overloaded some more energy, drill run, icy wind, I lose the game. So we're going to count that last one as a loss, but we do get a boom. So good games to my opponents today. Wild Charge, Shadow Magnezone was very fun. Again, mix and match that flyer based on what works for you. And then Annihilape Say Swap is always pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.